Hey, I'm Devin, and my wife Holly and I own and built Traveler's Nest Bus. Come on in. Here in the living room, we've got two sofas. One of them is 7 feet long. The other is probably more like 4. Neither of them pull out. We kind of chose not to pull them out to make a bigger bed because, quite honestly, we just want it to be us on the bus. We're not inviting guests very often, although somebody could sit or sleep on this sofa pretty easily. We also have a Cubic Mini wood stove. This is the Cub. It does a great job of heating the main section of our bus all the way back to kind of the doorway there. Past the doorway, it needs a little help with some fans to make sure that the heat gets back to the bedroom. We've got storage in both of these. However, because we're a flat nose bus, the wheels are right below here, and so the wheel wells take up a little bit of that section. So we got a small amount of storage here, and then a decent amount of storage in the 7-foot one. Hey, I'm Devin.
I'm Holly.
And we're Traveler's Nest Bus. You know, I think both of us would say our favorite place that we've been, and we've only been to a few places because we've only recently started taking trips with the bus, is probably Elijah Clark State Park.
I would agree.
It's right on Strom Thurmond Lake. It's got some really beautiful campsites, and it's just been comfortable.
Yeah, easy to navigate, beautiful waterfront sites. Feel like you're a world away from home.
Yeah. So here in the kitchen, we really were going for a more kind of home feeling to the overall theme of the bus. So we did try to use real furniture, kind of house furniture when we had the chance. So we upcycled this table, and then these two chairs are Holly's great-grandmother's mahogany chairs that they used in their house as well. So we just upcycled them to work with our dining table. This is not attached, so when we're driving, we flip it over and bungee it to the wall to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere, and the chairs stack on each other and get stored in the toilet room. We have a 4-burner propane stove, has oven, broiler as well. We have a pantry with drawers that come out, individual drawers, 5 of them. We've got a pretty nice sized sink that really serves our needs as far as dishwashing, etc. It does a great job. If we need to wash the dog, we can always wash him in there. We have an apartment size 110 volt refrigerator, and it holds everything we need for a decent trip. And then the cabinets were custom built. We built those ourselves. Everything on the bus we did ourselves except for the spray, the insulation, the spray foam insulation.
It took us 3 years to build the bus. Weekends, vacations, a lot of life interruptions. But in talking about the bus today with visitors, we really realized that having that extended build time really allowed us to develop our plans, make some adjustments and changes from what we thought that we would do. Not building it with a rushed deadline. We were able to adapt and kind of figure out, we could do this instead of this, and figure out what our options were. And in the end, I think it's really become exactly what we needed and what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that we thought we would do a certain way, and then upon introspection over time, because whether I had foot surgery or I had back surgery, it gave us time to think about maybe that wasn't the best choice. Maybe we could do it differently so it was either more efficient or a prettier detail or
what was more important to us.
Yeah. Yeah. To add some privacy to the back of the bus, because there's so many windows in the rest of the bus, we knew we wanted a door here, But the problem was with the curved ceiling, we knew we weren't going to be able to get all the way to the top. And so Holly came up with this great idea to make a sliding door, but then it also hinges, and so it closes off the back and gives us a nice kind of cozy feel back there. Ooh,
Oh,
I don't think there will be
no,
another
I don't
one.
think there will ever be a next
This
bus.
one will get passed down to our kids or sold at some point. I don't know that we would do anything differently.
I don't think
I
so
think
either.
because we had that time to think about it over 3 years, we really did what worked for us. And not everything is perfect, but it works for us, and there's nothing that I would say, oh, we need to totally change that.
And it could be we haven't been traveling in it long enough yet to
Yeah.
know what we would change, but
Yeah.
after, October to
October, 6
May?
months.
6 months?
6 months.
every time we take it out, it's like, yeah, this is home. This is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we want it to be, and
And we're happy with
yeah,
it.
no regrets.
So we have a composting toilet, Nature's Head, works great for us, and we have a fiberglass insert shower. It's a 32-inch square fiberglass shower that that we just cut to fit the ceiling curve. Back here in the kind of bedroom area, we again wanted to have kind of a real home kind of furniture feel, and so we repurposed a vanity that would have had its own mirror attached to it, but the mirror was too big to go in here, so so we upcycled it, added the bowl to it, added the faucet, and then we built our own mirror to go with it. It sits on top of the wheel well, so we had to be a little creative with the plumbing. So the plumbing leaves here and goes back behind the shower, which is in front, and then down to the gray water tank. And then on this side with the dresser, again, it's a full regular home kind of dresser, but it's attached to the studs in the wall of the bathroom, as well as to the floor through the legs. And then behind the dresser, we have a place that's more like a closet that we can hang our items in there. And then we have a queen size bed. That's a queen size bed. Storage underneath, and then our 68 gallon freshwater is underneath this side, and then everything else is storage underneath. And then behind this wall is our garage, which we can look at in a minute. We don't ever plan to go full-time in this. The only time I think we might see full-time is if we're in process of building our next home and we can live in it on the property while it's being built. We both enjoy having that home base. We're
makers, we have hobbies,
Yeah.
we need space to do the things that we want to do, to house the tools for that, those hobbies that we want to do.
And that's hard to do on the bus.
Yeah.
So here is our garage. We jokingly call it Hermione's purse. For anybody who knows Harry Potter, Hermione had a purse that could store anything in it. So as we're talking about what we need to store, we just say, oh, we'll put it in the garage. But it started to get to be where we were putting everything in the garage. And so we figured we needed some kind of magic to make it happen. But what you're looking at is underneath the bed. Our freshwater is to the left. We've got full storage with Rubbermaid containers underneath to the right. And then in the middle is where we store our jacks. And then over to the side, this is kind of seasonal things. This is a two-person inflatable kayak, and we've got some firewood and that kind of thing over there. Our hot water heater is over there. And then on the left is our electrical. So our battery bank is right here. And then our charge controller and our inverter charger are all in this area. We have had a couple misadventures. There was a time that we took the bus to get some work done on it, and had to get the transmission lines replaced. And the diesel shop that we took it to was probably 30 to 40 minutes away from our house. And on the drive home, we were just driving down the road, and all of my gauges started just kind of whacking back and forth in the whole panel. And then my rear facing camera started blinking out and went dead. And then the whole bus just died. And we were on a bit of road. It's a 2-lane highway, 55 mile an hour speed limit, not much shoulder. The shoulder really dropped off pretty heavy, so I only had the option to pull over, and I got a couple wheels off, and we were tilted in a way that I wasn't very comfortable with, but we were dead. And so, because of how the beauty of our build, and because we've thought about it, I've got a setup that I can flip a switch, and my house batteries will start charging my starter batteries. And
which was basically the problem.
Which was the problem. Our batteries were toast, and we didn't realize that. So we were able to limp home ultimately on the house batteries running the engine, which isn't great, but it was the only option we had at the time. And as soon as we replaced our batteries, that issue went away.
But we've had little things too, like the front door flying open because we didn't secure it before we left, and
that happened.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
So,
but we finally reached a point. There were no mishaps on the drive here to the festival. Not
on the drive here.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time that we didn't have something on the drive.
Yeah.
You know, that threw us off.
Okay, so now we're up on the deck that I discussed earlier, and from here you can see our 700 watts of solar panels. You can see our chimney for our cubic mini wood stove, our max fan fan.
Stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, go.
And so this is the driver's area. We really wanted a kind of an expansive dashboard. I also, one of the things that was a deal breaker for me was to make sure that I had a place for my big gulp cup if I needed it. So I redid the controls over here. We have controls for my backup camera, the LED light bar in the back, a couple other things. Obviously lights and all of that is on here. And then we built this doghouse cover because the first time we drove together, we couldn't speak to each other because it was so loud. And as the driver, all I was getting was heat emanating from the doghouse. So this is as form-fitting as we could get. We didn't want it to be obtrusive. We wanted it to make sure that we still had nice clean lines. And so we insulated the doghouse with both sound deadening kill mat sheets as well as 3/4 inch foam board. And then we built this on top of it. And then added the console to it so we can carry, things like insurance card or, those kinds of things in there, as well as have storage for the driver. And this has really turned out to be a huge piece of this, because at this point we can now have just a regular conversation while we're driving without raising our voices, and it doesn't really just bake me out of the seat. And so we've got a couple ways that we heat the bus, and that is with this mini split. It's a 9,000 BTU mini split that both heats and cools, and so it has been really great in the winter. it's got a great setting when the bus is in storage. Because we don't live on the bus, we do have to store the bus, but we also store things on here that can freeze. It has a great setting that is it's a freeze protection, and so we can set it to that, and it just keeps the bus at about 40 degrees, and so we don't have to be concerned about that. But it also does a great job of heating and cooling the bus itself. As you saw earlier, another way that we heat the bus is with our Cubic Mini Cub wood stove. So if we can't be on the grid, we would use the Cubic Mini to heat. But if we're able to get on the grid or use a generator, then we would use the Mini Split. You guys can find us on Facebook or Instagram. On both, we're Traveler's Nest Bus. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been fun telling you our story.
Thanks, y'all.